Confused Eagle is a very interestingly named blog about the U.S. policy towards sub-Saharan Africa. There is a wide interest in what is published on Confused Eagle. Generally, some people will critique it. Other people will actually use it as a base for their activism, as another source of information. There have been instances where I've had information on my blog before it hit the New York Times and the Washington Post. And, you know, sometimes it's, you know, get it out first and get it out accurately.
Where does your own passion for Africa come from?
Believe it or not, it goes back to high school when I was in debate club. The format was Model UN, and most of the countries I actually represented were African countries. Represented Nigeria once on a mock Security Council, for example. And that's where the interest started, seeing how what role they were playing on the world stage. It made it interesting, and at that time, the only time you saw Africa mentioned on the U.S. news back then was whether or not if there was a coup attempt or U.S. and Soviet agents were playing spy versus spy. I would say right now, with the current economic situation, I think Washington is willing to let our influence in Africa wane a little bit. There are some issues that we're seeking to have influence in, particularly counterterrorism is an issue, and energy policy. And it seems like we seem to be playing the old Cold War game with the Chinese right now. It's playing one country off against the other for access to resources and things like that. I interact with members of the political opposition, independent media sources, because generally we're seeing a lot of how Washington thinks. You know, they generally look for sources that tend to agree with what they say. There's very little critical thought in any of the media outlets anymore. I have been in contact with some of the staff at the New York Times, for example. Other NGOs that have read my work and used it to follow up on their details, because sometimes I've been able to get the information through unofficial channels that they haven't been able to get to because of censorship rules. So sometimes the devil is in the details of getting the information out. On the tab of the envelope it says, "Need to know," which is basically how I view it. This is information that everybody needs to know, especially as a taxpayer here in the U.S. For those who want to read Confused Eagle, it can be found at confusedeagle.livejournal.com.